We got some new songs to play. Who's here? Let's dance. Let's play right into the hands of a wonderful life, of a wonderful life. Let's swing, let's miss, kiss a little harder on the lips of a wonderful life, of a wonderful life. Go with the flow, bleed like color on the clothes of a wonderful life, of a wonderful life. Another new year, make it matter and cry a couple real tears. We could visit too, we wouldn't want to live here. No, no. Sweet talk, let's share, let's get tangled in the hair of a wonderful life, of a wonderful life. Let's get underneath the skin. Have a wonderful life, have a wonderful life. Ooh, feel it moving. Have a cow and then we'll put it out to pasture. Pray the moment doesn't take a life to master. No. Punching straight into the face. Have a wonderful life, have a wonderful life. Who's here? Who knows? Let's leave nothing on the bones. Have a wonderful life, have a wonderful life. Ooh, feel it moving faster. We'll have a cow and then we'll put it out to pasture. Pray the moment doesn't take a life to master. No, 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 no. All right, we figured out the new one. We figured out the new one. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you so much.
Recorded live, it's Iron and Wine with Sweet Talk, a song from the new album Light Verse. It's the first full-length release since 2017's Beast epic and comes on the heels of the 2023 documentary Who Can See Forever, A Portrait of Iron and Wine. Sam Beam is Iron and Wine, and he's my guest today on World Cafe. It is always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks.
It's great to be here, Kallao. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing? How are things going?
Pretty well, pretty well. Back in Philly for the first time in a while. It's really nice.
Excellent. Well, we're glad you're here. Yeah. I want to talk about Light Verse, and actually, I want to jump back a little bit because the last time I had a chance to talk to you, it was along with Joey Burns for the record you made with Calexico, Years to Burn. That was 2019.
Before times.
Yeah, and then something happened after that, and now it's 2024, and we're here. But one of the things that I read about was that you were going through a bit of writer's block in the lead up to working on this album.
Yeah.
When you have something like writer's block, when you realize that's what's happening, do you have any tried and true ways to get out of that?
Just let time go by, do something else. This one was, was unique because the pandemic was a unique experience. But it's also, there was something about when I would sit to write, you felt like you were supposed to say something, like supposed to talk in like reassuring ways or things like, there's something about the punk rocker in me that just refuses to do what I'm told. or just the way I approach songwriting is a bit more like a poem. And the minute you get into a spot where you feel like you're supposed to say something a certain way, I just have to back up. And so that was happening a lot until things kind of opened up a little bit more, and I reconnected with some friends, and then was able to just write fairly easily.
There were a couple of things that you did that sort of helped you get back into that, and one of them was working on an EP of Laurie McKenna covers.
Yeah.
I imagine like digging into other people's art and other people's work can create inspiration or generate ideas. How did that help?
Well, I mean, I was really engaged with her songs at the time. I was familiar with her music, but for some reason, a lot of us were sitting at home for a long time in the pandemic, and I was just sort of focusing on her music for a while, and it just seemed like, I mean, I have a long history of, me and a lot of other people would do covers because you're searching for something else to dig into, and so I love doing covers, and so to be able to do several of hers was really fun because you got to show some breadth of different kinds of songs. And just recording itself, for me, is really just sort of gets me back into what I love about making music the most. I mean, I love playing shows, and I like writing, but making records is my favorite part.
The studio environment is where it all comes together?
Yeah, it always has been. Something about making a thing. I went to art school and film school, these things, places where you learn to make creative things. And so once recording, making music became making a thing, making a recording. That's what got me excited about it.
Yeah. We're talking with Sam Beam here on World Cafe. If you are just joining us, he is Iron and Wine. The new album is called Light Verse. I'd love to dig into that title just a little bit because something, I don't know, whimsical about that. What does it mean to you?
Well, I mean, literally, it's a term to describe a type of poetry, sort of more silly, light verse. I mean, it is what it describes. I just thought it was fun. The song, most of the songs of this record are honestly about loss, but the way that it comes across is a bit more whimsical than some of the other records, or there's more balance. I thought about maybe calling it light verse, wink, wink, or light verse, verse, chorus, or something. There's so many kind of, just dumb dad jokes you can make about it.
Well, it's actually worth kind of unpacking because there's a line in the song Bag of Cats where you say you'll never find a better place to die, which is, I mean, it's really uplifting in a different kind of way. Is that melancholic optimism? Because there is something joyful about this record, but it's also not all sunshine and rainbows for sure.
No, I like to have fun. Some of it's snarky, some of it's poignant, however you want to describe it. I like to just mix up all those sentiments in one salad or one soup or whatever you want to call it.
Sure, and I know that
whatever we're eating.
We could do more food metaphors, as many as you want. I know that not necessarily every time you go into the studio you have a plan for what the greater theme of the record is. When did Light Verse start revealing itself to you as to what the themes were going to kind of be about?
I don't really think of it in those terms like before. I don't really write records, I just write songs. And so when it comes time to get in the studio, a lot, some people like to go in and just sort of wing it and see what happens. I kind of come with a plan. So I'll have a group of songs. This one, there was a song called You Never Know that was kind of light and touch, and the phrases kind of opened up. They weren't like close-ended phrases. Like an example of like a close-ended phrase was like the branch broke, as opposed to the tree grew. It's like an open-ended kind of phrase that suggests something else might happen.
The old improv, yes, and.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so the song kind of did that, where it sort of went from one phrase to another, and it kind of told me which other ones were to be included, whether they were similar to that or they were different from that, and you're including them for variety's sake. But that was kind of the linchpin for the most part.
Yeah. We're here on World Cafe with Sam, Iron and Wine. I want to get to another performance, and it's Anyone's Game.
Yeah.
A little diversion that is the game of life. Was there any particular inspiration for this song?
A very specific one. I ran across these poems by a guy named Vasco Popa, he's not alive anymore, but he was a poet from Serbia who had a series of poems called Games. They were short poems where he basically described life. The poems are description of children's games, like the rules of a game, like a hide and seek or something like that. But they quickly go off on different ways, and they're kind of surreal, scary and funny at the same time. But they're also, they're basically descriptions of life, but as told by the rules of a game. And so that's how I just sort of use it as inspiration. It's a terrible version of one of his poems.
But it's funny you mention it, talking to children, because the narrator sounds like he's like, the narrator or protagonist has been through this, and they're letting the young whippersnappers know what they're in for, this game of life.
Yeah.
Is it a reliable narrator?
This one? Oh, I have no idea. I mean, it just seems like he's like describing. It's just nonsensical in some ways, but at the same time, it feels true. It's not like someone telling you his experience. It's just sort of describing the rules of this, how this game plays out. It's odd.
If you were to tell me those rules, I wouldn't feel optimistic. I would feel a little bit of pressure. It's so easy, anyone can play, and maybe not necessarily. Well, let's have our audience listen in. Recorded live at World Cafe in Philadelphia, it is Iron and Wine with Anyone's Game.
Thank you. This is another new one. So many new songs, what the heck? This one's called Anyone's Game. Anybody born knows how to play this little game. First they light a candle in themselves, they lean it up against the wind and then they run around the rain. Anybody born plays pretty well. If they grow into another's heart or someone counts to 10, let's just say that's the hardest place to hide. They jump out of their names until the game begins again. They open one another's empty eyes till they ride like ashes off the ground, fall down like diamonds off the dead, till they go as though they're coming back. Take their time like it's all they're gonna get. Anybody born knows how to play this little game. No one can be born too many times. First they kiss their lucky dice and then they dig themselves a grave. They do this until it's killing them to try to rise like ashes off the ground, fall down like diamonds off the dead, to go so they're coming back. Take their time like it's all they're gonna get, to rise like ashes off the ground, fall down like diamonds off the dead. that the clues are few, and the last one ends in egg. Don't be the rotten egg. They bend the map or just turn around if their life gets in the way. Let's just say that their life gets in the way. Let's just say, let's just say. Let's just say it. Let's just say, let's just say it, say it. Let's just say, let's just say. Thanks a lot.
Recorded live at World Cafe, it's Iron and Wine with the performance of Anyone's Game. My guest today is Sam Beam, who performs as Iron and Wine. The new album, Light Verse, is available now. Laurel Canyon, recording out at Way Station.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was surprised to learn that you'd never recorded out in Los Angeles or Laurel Canyon, which seems in a lot of ways like a natural fit.
You'd think so. Maybe that's why I wasn't doing it.
Go against the grain.
Maybe, yeah. I just, I usually, I don't have a fixed band,
right.
but I like to collaborate with people. So for a long time I was doing a lot of recording in Chicago because I was playing with a lot of people from Chicago. And then for a while, and then I did some recording in New York. And the last one, sometimes, just playing a lot of different places. I don't know. But the last couple of years, I've been playing with more people from Los Angeles and meeting people from Los Angeles. And this just sort of made sense for this record. Yeah.
So are you generally not an environment person where it's like, I need to go to a location and that'll evoke something different on this record?
Yeah, not so much. I mean, I understand how that exists for people, but I kind of bring my own vibe.
Yeah, it sounds like the people is much more important in terms of creating a good atmosphere for recording.
Totally. To me, they're like actors in a scene or in a play. I mean, the play succeeds because of the actors. I mean, the script should be good, but it's also, great actors can do wonders with a bad script.
Yeah, they can, from improvisation to finding a way to sell it. So you've got some people who are really good at that. You've got David Garza and Sebastian Steinberg and a whole slew of other people. Dave Way, who mixed the album, and his studio that you used in Laurel Canyon, what did he bring to the table? Why was it exciting to...
Oh, he's great. He's so good. So patient, knows everything that you ever want to know about sound recording. He came up in New York recording those early New Jack Swing records. It was incredible to talk to him about those stories. And then he went to L.A., working on the last two Michael Jackson records. Maybe you've heard of him. And then, I was introduced to him through, I share a lot of band members with Fiona Apple, and they make the last couple of her records with him. And so Sebastian was in my ear about going to record with Dave Way, and he was right. It was great.
All in Good Time, a duet, Fiona Apple. What were the beginnings of this song before getting into the studio? How did that start for you?
Honestly, it wasn't written as a duet. I just wrote it like any other song. It just has a refrain that spoke to me. You could say good things or bad things. All these things happen in good time. And so it was kind of a chaotic history of a couple. But because, as I mentioned, we share some band members, and it was kind of a family affair between her people and my people. We're all sharing people. And so it just seemed, when the idea popped up, that we could turn this into a duet. It just sort of fell into place, and she was really generous and kind to do it.
But before we get to the live version, I want people to hear the duet between Sam and Fiona here on World Cafe.
All in good time, I followed my nose. Where to bleed when a knife comes to blows. Tried on your love, then I folded those clothes, all in good time.
Throw your bread to falling birds.
Buried friends and wasted words. Something wants to eat us all alive.
That's All in Good Time from the album Light Verse, Iron and Wine's new record, a duet featuring Fiona Apple. How do you handle it live? Just sing the whole thing yourself?
Yeah, that's how it started. So, yeah. So, no one sounds like her. Not like I can just find replacements. Yeah, that's what we've been doing so far. I'm sure we'll switch it around. Sometimes we'll do it as a duet, sometimes not.
Very cool. Let's take a listen to it. Recorded live. It's Iron and Wine, All in Good Time.
All in good time, I gave it my best. I was alone till I found myself. Grew up to be a man, more or less. All in good time. All in good time, I drifted away. I ran my mouth till I had nothing to say. You broke my heart, and I was okay. All in good time. All in good time, I trusted my eyes. Treated my losses like clouds in the sky. Finally picked on someone my size. All in good time. All in good time, I followed my nose. Learned where to bleed when the night comes to blows. Tried on your love, then I folded those clothes. All in good time. Throw your bread to falling birds. Bury friends and wasted words. Somehow wants to eat us all alive. All in good time, my angel came back. Made us some money, but that didn't last. We wouldn't cry, we couldn't laugh. All in good time. All in good time, we felt like a star. We closed our eyes, we opened our arms. Ran off the road in our own stolen car. All in good time. All in good time, and that's what it was. We mistook that cash and the mattress for love. Dropped all our weapons and we shrank from the blood. All in good time. All in good time, we had nothing to prove. We took the bait, we lost the tooth. No one believed it, but we told the truth. All in good time. To boop. I told my future by reading your lips. You wore my ring till it didn't fit. All in good time. All in good time, we suffered enough. We met our muscle when push came to shove. Swept all that broken glass under the rug. All in good time. Dancing till we both collapsed. Wishing we could hide our tracks. Something wants to eat us all alive. All in good time, we'll remember when. Say our goodbyes and our hellos again. Puffin' we'll puff till they let us in. All in good time. All in good time, we'll land on our feet. Your mother will sigh, and my soldier will sleep. We'll swim in the ocean, fishes set free. All in good time. We'll swim the ocean. All in good time.
It's Iron and Wine on World Cafe, recorded live here in Philadelphia, all in good time. Light Verse is the new album from Iron and Wine. It is available now. I am Kallao, joined by Sam Beam here on World Cafe. You were doing an interview with Lizzie No, who I know is opening up for you on a few European dates, and she is great in either chair, as the guest
She is great.
or the interviewer. So I was listening to your Basic Folk podcast episode with her, and you said something that made me jump up and say, what? Because as a non-songwriter, I'm always curious about how songwriters think about the craft.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't say it exactly, but because it's public radio and we're family safe here. But I guess the best way I can go is, what do you have against adjectives?
Well, I mean, that's just, you don't believe them. You know? In a conversation, if I said, I like you, I mean, I really like you, you would start to think like, wait a second. He's just pulling, you just don't, you're trying to, it's persuasive, but it's not descriptive.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say like you can't ever use adjectives, but I just have more faith in a verb.
See, that kind of, like, I don't know a ton about songwriting, but that's fascinating. So do you, like, are there certain ways that you want to punch up a song, and when you're looking back at it, you're editing, going through, you're like, this is too many words that don't convey enough emotion. There are too many adjectives. We need a verb here.
I mean, at this point, it's just sort of the way I work. You're looking more for those kinds of, if you have a song where, I'm trying to, I don't know, it's a kind of a weird description or a scene to describe, but like if you're talking to someone in a song and you're just describing your feeling for them and saying like, you describe it this way, or you can describe it that way, with like a word saying like it's really, or you could describe something that you did together or something that you want to do, something, act or dance or go for a walk or whatever. Lots of things couples do. It just has more meaning than actually just trying to persuade through adjectives. And so at this point, I kind of lean off of those things just at the beginning. I don't have to like go back and say, oh, wait, there's too many adjectives. I feel like I probably wouldn't have put them in there in the first place.
So you've got the Iron and Wine philosophy of songwriting. You've been doing it.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Have you noticed a shift in your process over 20 plus years of songwriting? Things you do now that you don't do then, or things that you don't do now that you used to?
Definitely use less adjectives for sure. Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, is there anything that's off limits when you're writing an Iron and Wine song? Like this, it can't convey this? No? Yeah.
I mean, I think there's certain things that songs are better at communicating than others for sure. Mm-hmm. But also, there's lots of people who can write songs about things that I just can't, I don't believe it when I go there. And so there's lots of different things.
Can you give me an example of a place that you won't go to? But not interested in
Yeah, I mean,
to?
I never say never, but I don't do a whole lot of political songs because I just don't believe, I don't believe myself when I'm saying them.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really like trying to tell people how to think, or mine's just more of like describing something that happened or something, just describing situations.
We have one more song to get to, and we're going to jump back to 2011's Kiss Each Other Clean to hear Tree by the River.
Sure.
And I know that you've never been shy about reinterpreting your work.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the process of evolving a song for the stage over the years so that it feels a little bit different for you as an artist, and maybe the people at home or people at the concert get a different interpretation of a song they know really well?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I feel like as long as you're not, taking a piss and like trying to mess it up, as long as you're like, you know what I mean? There are people who do it. As long as you're singing the melody in a way that people can recognize it, and you're playing lots of other things that are familiar too. I mean, it's not like you just get up and play that one song and they're like, well, that wasn't what I remember. You're playing a whole group of songs that they're familiar with. I just kind of let the group that I'm playing with sort of lead the way, or the other songs. Like I was saying, we play a lot of other songs that they're familiar with. Let the other songs that are either played before or after it, if they're up tempo, we like change something that was up tempo to be quiet or something. Just something for variety's sake. I kind of like to see how elastic a song can be without being disrespectful for the fans.
Awesome. So with Tree by the River, how's that evolved for you live over the years? I mean, you've probably twisted that almost every possible way.
In a lot of ways, yeah. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower, sometimes it's in a minor key, sometimes it's, the more space you give that song, I've found that the more you find how sad this guy is about how this whole thing played out. And the faster, more it sounds like you hear the melody more. You hear like the sort of pop melody that it is.
With that, we're going to spoil it because we're about to play the song. What are you feeling potentially for tonight's rendition? Are we going to feel the sadness of this person? Or are we going to focus on the melody?
I don't know.
You want to listen to what you're about to play in the future? We'll listen to it together.
Let's do it.
Recorded live for World Cafe. It's Iron and Wine, Tree by the River.
Back, all right. My team. Marianne, do you remember the tree by the river when we were 17? The dark canyon wall call and the answer. Mare in the pasture, pitch black and bare in its teeth. I recall the sun in our faces, stuck and leaning on graces, being strangers to change. Radio, the bones we found frozen on the thorns and the roses beneath your window pane. Now I'm asleep in a car, I mean the world, to a party mouth girl and a pretty pair of blue-eyed birds. Time isn't kind or unkind, you like to say. I wonder to who, what it is you're saying today. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
It's Iron and Wine here on World Cafe with Tree by the River. The new album from Sam Beam is available now. It is called Light Verse. Sam, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for being here, and congrats on the new album.
Thanks so much. Great to be here. Thanks so much.
This is World Cafe.
All in good time, I gave it my best. I was alone till I found myself. Grew up to be a man, more or less. All in good time. All in good time, I drifted away. I ran my mouth till I had nothing to say. You broke my